Do you want to get these awesome free tanks to work in UE4? You came to the right place. Ben is going to show you how to get these bad boys to behave like the good tanks they are. In Part 1, you will learn how to hack the tracks to work with the Off-World Industries Enhanced Vehicle plugin. In Part 2, you will learn how to make that suspension drop like it's hot. Are you tracking? Let's do this. Ben, over to you.
Wow, nice intro.
Thanks for the encouragement, bro.
Welcome. Okay, folks, let's get this going. Now, first thing we're going to do is create a new folder. I'm going to call it new tank. Just a working folder. Open up the Epic's game launcher. Now you're going to find in the marketplace, there is a load of free tanks from this company called Vigliante. All free stuff. So pick one. Okay, download it. Also going to need the enhanced vehicle movement plugin, enhanced vehicle plugin. That's what it looks like. It's from Off-World Defense Simulations, the makers of Squad. Install that engine. Go to their page as well. There's a demo project called Lab IFB. Download that. Go to your library. I'm just going to delete this old tutorial. Okay. Now go back down to this Lab IFB that you downloaded. Create the project. Okay, create the project. Make sure that the enhanced vehicle simulator or vehicle plugin. Make sure this is installed in the engine. And then your tank, T72, add that to your project. So I'm going to add it to the project that was created. It's actually the Lab IFB. Okay, perfect. Start the project. Okay, we're in the start off with the environment that was built by Off-World Industries demo project, this Lab IFB project. We can use that. We'll use that to set up our project. Okay, create a new folder and call it new tank. Now, the problem with this free Vigliante content vehicles that we downloaded is that this skeleton mesh, the tracks there's only one material for the tracks. So you see there's a track material here, and then there's the body material. So for the blueprint, we're going to need two separate track materials. So you need to go into the asset, export into folder you just created, an FBX, unclick level of detail, export. Open up Blender. Okay, press A, select all, delete all the default cube. Import FBX. Now to the folder where you saved the exported skeleton mesh. Import file. Okay, so you should have the bones and the tank all set up like that. Go to the shading editor. Click on the tank. Tab into edit mode. Now I'm pressing 2 for line select. Now click a cross section of this. Actually, I'm going to go into X-ray mode with Alt-Z and make sure that I have the entire cross section. Sometimes there's overlapping layers in these. Now press Ctrl+ a bunch of times until the entire frame is covered. Go into this material slot. Press the little plus, assign, oops, Okay, now to your blank slot, assign that. Should change color. Press new and rename the material. I'm going to name it right track. Just going to name the other left track. Okay, good. We got our material slots sorted out. Now, go back into Object Mode tab. Select everything, including the bones. Export FBX. Armature and mesh. Unclick. Add these bones. Export to the place you saved the other tank. The other exported skeleton mesh. Go back into Unreal Engine. I'm going to go into my import that FBX into this folder. Okay, we don't need to create any new materials for this. Just import it. Should have 3 files: the skeleton mesh, an automatically generated physics asset, and skeleton. You'll know it's the right mesh because it now has 3 material slots. And these 2 tracks are blank. We're going to have to fix that in a second. So go to the imported Vigliante content version of this tank, and I'm going to find under materials and textures. There's the 3 tank tread textures. Just copy them all into your working folder. Okay. Now we're done with this Vigliante content. All we need is the skeletal mesh and those textures. Now this OWI content folder, we need some files from there. That's the demo project. It actually contains this cool lab vehicle, which is a wheeled vehicle. Works great right off the bat, but there's some really good extra blueprints in the shared folder called BP generic tank. Just going to duplicate it. Go to new tank. BP. And move it into our working folder. The other thing we need from this shared folder is the master material called M-Track Material Horizontal. So I can move that as well into my new tank. Just going to copy it into the new tank folder. This should be what it contains right now. So remember, we have to go into the skeleton mesh. Actually, this is the wrong skeleton mesh. See, you can tell it has 2 materials. The other skeleton mesh. So there's 3 materials in skeleton mesh. This is the one we just edited in Blender. You see the tanks tracks need to be put back in here just to pull this out. Yeah. Okay, so first thing I need to do is create a new material instance. Yeah, I'll put this back. Okay, open the material instance. So you can see we have slots that the track textures can go into: albedo map, normal map, reflection map. So just shuffle those over. Albedo map, normal map. Save your material instance. Just open up this skeletal mesh again, and then throw the tank material, the track material instance that we just created into both of those slots. See those 2 slots we got: right track and left track. So element 1 is left track, element 2 is right track. Close that. Now we have to tell our main blueprints how to operate the skeletal mesh bones. Open the blueprint see it's already kind of pre-built with all the node network you need to operate this track. So there's kind of a lot of stuff to set up in here. We're not going to do it all. We're just going to do tracks of the movement right now. So you can see this track's UV offset. Just use the dynamic material to kind of shift the UVs on the track material. And then it just kind of adjusts this current offset variable within the track material to change the UV offsets. It's kind of just a little look at how it works. But basically what we need to do right now is make sure that our plugin for the enhanced vehicle movement is enabled. It'll ask you to restart. If you enable it, just click the restart button. It'll save it and restart pretty quickly. We don't need this tank there anymore. And then very next thing to do, just go to the mesh under your new tank blueprint. And we need to tell the blueprint enhanced vehicle movement actually this blueprint just needs to, the mesh has to be directed to our new tank skeleton mesh. So there's two here, but this one's contained in our working folder, so that's the one we want. Go down to vehicle movement component in your blueprint. You see that there's a vehicle setup, wheel setup. So now all these have to be aligned with the bones that exist within the skeletal mesh. This is already pre-populated with a name of a bone, but we've got to put our own custom names for each bone in there. I'll show you how to do that. So the easiest way is just to pull this tab out. You can see there we've got our bone names there. Just move it over just a little bit there. Just move this out of the way. I'm going to open up the skeletal mesh so that we can see the bones part. And here's our skeletal mesh. And I've got this skeleton tree and skeleton mesh. List all the bones we need. So there's kind of a few branches on this, but really we're looking at our skeleton group under this root joint. And then we've got left wheel 2 track, and under there left wheel 2 joint. So these are the wheels that we want to align. All right, just going to pull this out. Pull these 2 windows right next to each other. You can cut and paste the names. Remember, this is the blueprint, new tank blueprint. Pre-supplied by Off-World Industries. Thank you very much. Okay, so in this tank, I've got left wheel joint, right click, copy selected bone names, click in the field, Control V, do that for everything. So wheel 1, I've got wheel R2. So let's go down to wheel R, right, wheel 2. Here it is. Okay, I'll just fast forward through this part now. I think you get the picture. Okay, done with that skeleton mesh list. Now your new tank blueprint open. Now there's a couple extra tires that were wheels that were pre-populated in here. Delete them. We're not going to use them right now. Could later on conceivably put in the drive wheels, but for now this will do the trick. Okay, compile and save. Now, the other thing to do here is go to our class settings, class defaults, and you've got this track material ID left and right. So remember, left track was in our slot 1, right track was in slot 2. Save that. Now we can pull this tank in to our environment. But before we start try to at least test out the name by pressing play, make sure that under pollen, dismiss these. Make sure that for your project under pollen, auto possess player, set to layer 0, another world settings, change to your game mode phase. Okay. Now we should be able to take possession of a vehicle when we press play. But it's gone. Disappeared. And for some reason, my auto possess player didn't. So click player 0, auto possess player. Try play. Tank explodes. Why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because this physics asset that was automatically created is usually all messed up when it's created. So you need to go into this skeleton tree and then under this physics asset, Control A. It takes a second. Okay, everything's highlighted. Delete everything. And then go to options, show all bones. Go to your root joint. Here it is in the Vigliante content. This is what it's called. Root _ JNT. Dismiss some errors. Now we're going to create a physics body just to encapsulate the body of the tank. That's all we need for the enhanced vehicle movement plugin. Okay, add bodies. It actually adds a tiny little physics body. Press F to zoom in. There it is. Just gonna make it a bit bigger here under the body setup. Just by making these numbers larger, make it easier for me to use the widgets to stretch these out. Probably fast forward for this too. Okay, good enough. Save that. Done with physics. Give your tank another try. Seems to not explode. Press WASD. Okay, tank is operational. It turns. One problem, the tracks don't work properly. They're moving 90 degrees from where they should. That's an easy fix. Escape out of this. Back into your editor. Into this main master material. So it's this master material that we took from the OWI content demo project. It's actually got the what it needs. Remember, this current offset changes the UV's offset to make tracks give you an illusion of movement. So moving 90 degrees from what it should be. So obviously U and V are swapped. This is where it takes the one-dimensional parameter, makes it into a vector right here, make float. So all we have to do is change the actual connection from X to Y, Y to X, break the other link. Save. Try out your tank. Okay, works. Now when we turn, they should turn opposite. Okay. Okay, one problem with this is that the suspension doesn't really bump yet. And in the next tutorial, we're going to learn how to do that with our animations blueprint. And we're going to also make the tracks bump along with it. Maybe some further tweaks. For now, you got a drivable tank. Thanks for watching.